Alright nerds, we're back for another beer review. It is IPApril. So let's start this off with one of the granddaddies of them all, Sierra Nevada and their Torpedo IPA. Now Torpedo IPA isn't necessarily the first IPA around. I'm not really sure like commercially in North America who that would be. IPAs have been made for a very, very long time. However, Sierra Nevada kind of, along with Stone, is one of the first companies to really introduce it into the North American market. Sierra Nevada started in 1980 in Chico, California. They had the same brewer for 34 years, which actually blew my mind when I read that. That was pretty crazy. Good for them. From 83 to 2017. Wild. So you know their beer is made to perfection. It's the same guy doing it all the time. It can't help but keep that, right? So there has to be some veracity in the ingredients and in the recipe and stuff, right? I'm sure tweaked here and there, of course, like everybody tweaks it here and there constantly. Every brew's a little tiny bit different. So we're gonna see what this is like. I don't know if I've had this. I don't know. In IPApril, we are gonna do only IPAs, probably. I'm lining up a few interviews with some of the breweries, local breweries, talking about their IPAs. I'm gonna try and do a little what is IPA video when I have time. And maybe wrap it up, get some people on, some locals on, and talking about their favorite IPA, what they think, blah, blah, blah. It's going to be a lot of fun. Let's get right to this. Torpedo IPA, 16 fluid ounce can, 473 milliliters. So 473 milliliters is 16 ounces. Not 1 pint, as we suspected, as I've been saying for a year. This is their extra IPA. It is 7.2%. So it's very, very strong. Let's pour this. Sure to be West Coast style IPA. Oh yeah, look at that. There's some about Malty IPAs that you can see in the color. You can tell what a West Coast IPA looks like when it pours. This copper body, highly carbonated, one finger white head. It looks like an IPA when you pour it. It just looks like it. Let's get right to the smell. Now what I'm going to try and do is not look up any of these beers beforehand. I might look up the brewery, see what they're about if I don't know them. Sierra Nevada I know a little bit about, luckily. But I'm not going to look up the beers. I'm going to try and get an honest review. And I'm going to try all the different types of IPAs. Hazy, West Coast, East Coast, strong, sessional, fruity. I got all kinds here. Twirled it around. You can see how carbonated it is. I just twirled it around to get a bit of the sniff, which I'm getting already. Yeah, definitely West Coast, like very pine, very verdant, malty, biscuity, crackery, but also that tropical fruit that you always get in these West Coast styles, using like Centennial and Cascade and those kinds. You often use Mosaic as well, kind of like the 3C Citra you'll see, but you just know an old school IPA, American IPA, when you smell it. Now, of course, they differ from British IPAs, which I found one. They say they're British. We're going to find out by DUCL, so we'll try that. The difference being the hop variety. So in the States, it was Yakima Valley. They discovered their local hops like Centennial and Cascade, and how well they like incorporated into IPAs. So that's what I'm guessing. It doesn't say on the can anywhere what type of hops. Just has all the usual don't drink and drive, family owned and operated, where they're from, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. Something but like a Forest 4 you always get in these, right? That like verdantness, that greenness. Not green, like pine green. Like the green on the color of the can. Well, let's dig in. Let's dig into this beer. I'm going to pour a little more in. Just freshen it up. There we go. Cheers, everybody. Happy IPApril. And this is not a joke. Yeah, quite malty, actually. Thick. The maltiness gives it like a really thick, robust body. Yeah. It allows it to kind of like coat your mouth. Very very pine forward. Very, very pine forward. You get tropical fruit, and then you get some more bitterness at the back. It's quite bitter. And it's quite boozy. At 7.2, you can taste that. I've done other beers recently that had high alcohol, and I didn't notice. This one, you notice the booze. And instantly get the style. You instantly get the style, which is kind of cool. There's no disguising what they're going for at all. They're going for a super strong, hoppy, West Coast, like hot bomb IPA. Exactly it. It just reminds me of like the IPAs I started with, you know. So what was that, like 7, 8 years ago, when I started getting into craft beer here in Bodunk, Lethbridge, Alberta. And I didn't have any clue, right? Didn't really have a clue about craft beer when I toured, got into it. Excuse me, quite gassy. And these were the kind of first introduction to IPAs, and then it escalated quite quickly amongst us, trying to find like hoppy beer. This reminds me a bit of Arrogant Bastard, like a lighter Waldo's. There's just so many beers in that. Like Stone Brewing, especially like Stone and Rogue make this kind of beer quite often. And that's exactly what it is. It's really good. It's not refreshing. Let's not kid ourselves. There's nothing really refreshing about high alcohol, highly hopped beer. Unless it's like going to be that northeast hazy kind of, that can be refreshing because it's fruitier. This is pine, earthiness, verdantness, very malty, a little biscuity in there. It's a thick drink. And you take your time drinking it. You're enjoying it like watching a game. You're not crushing these, right? You're just watching a game. You're sitting on the patio. You're camping. You're hanging out with the boys, whatever. Or the gals, right? And that's exactly what this is. It's exactly what I thought it would be. Perfect way, in my opinion, to start IPApril. I'm glad I decided to do Sierra Nevada first. I'm glad I was able to find some. I looked for Stone. I haven't found that yet. So if somebody in Lethbridge knows where there's some Stone Brewing, let me know. I'd like to pick some up. And any other suggestions for IPAs I should try. I got a big full fridge here. There's a lot of beer in there right now. A lot of IPAs, a lot of different companies, from Breakside to, what else we got there? Some Buffalo 9, some Growlerly, Spectrum, local guys. I even got some Galactic, like Odin Space Dragon, which should be controversial. Got some Rogue. I just really want to try and like mix it up a bit. I might even try some commercial IPAs, like some Alexander Keith's or something like that, just to see what the difference is. I haven't had one for a really long time, so it'd be interesting to find some commercial IPA to try that I haven't tried on the channel. As well, I'm going to try and make sure everything we have isn't something I'm redoing. If I do, oh well. Anyways, comment below if you have ideas of local beers or any beers or IPAs you'd like us to try, or in our social medias at Fermented Nerds. While you're commenting, look down below, right about here. Brew us up some thumbs. Brew us up some subscriptions if you haven't. And if you want notifications, hit the bell. Oh, you know how it goes. You watch a lot of YouTube, especially if you're here, or you're my friend or family, and you know what's going on, or you're new to the channel. And welcome. I hope you're enjoying what you're seeing. I have a lot more of these to come here in IPApril. I am Wally. This is Fermented Nerds. Sierra Nevada is Torpedo IPA.